Ashley Scher, the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we are in week 28, believe it or not, of our registered yoga teacher training, our RYT-200, the 200-hour Yoga Alliance accredited degree. If you are just here to observe on YouTube, then enjoy the ride. If you wish to enroll in the course and you're not already enrolled, you can enroll at ShareLove.Fund/train. At ShareLove.Fund/train, you will see all of our 6 Yoga Alliance accredited courses, our RYT-200, RYT-300, RYT-500, our PYT, the prenatal course, our CYT, the children's course, and our YSAP, the Yoga Alliance Continuing Education Provider courses. We provide 30 continuing education hours, including postnatal. You don't need anything with you today. A few optional things are, this is a printout of the RYT-200 course manual. I'm going to be referring to some things as we take a deep dive into our pose of the week, which is Hero's Pose. I'll just briefly demonstrate. Sitting down with the feet to the side. And we will also be taking a deep dive into breath work today. And we are going to take a sneak peek at some of the breath work exercises discussed in detail in the RYT-300, because we're more than halfway done with our 200, and folks that want to continue their education may be interested in the 300, and I'd like to share some highlights from that course. So please take a comfortable seated position. If you need to grab a blanket or something to feel comfortable, please feel free. As usual, no props are required. We were created to serve the incarcerated female population and at-risk populations. So we really believe in all you need is yourself. That said, if you want some optional add-ons, this would be the time. In general, we don't need anything besides a mat, which is optional. You can have the ground, a bolster, blanket, block, eye pillow if that's your preference, and a yoga strap. That could be a belt or anything that doesn't give way to tension, so like a firm resistance, so that we could build muscle in our forearms and flex at the same time. That said, all those things are optional. I'm going to turn on this lovely salt lamp while you all get ready to get what you need. Please feel free to grab a water or something to hydrate. In traditional yogic philosophy, the idea would be not to hydrate during this period. However, I'm a strong proponent that yoga is not a super difficult sport. I know some people try to make it that, but it really can be your time to unwind and relax. And I feel that for most people, we're so busy, we do not have time to drink 8 glasses of water a day. So if you can drink a glass of water in this class with me, at least that would be a huge win to be hydrated in that way. Plus, for the stretches that we do, for the stretches, it will help to avoid having lactic acid buildup. So I'm going to start with our RYT-200 course manual. Just take a comfortable seated position. If you want to enjoy the benefits of a stretch while we are doing this coursework, then I invite you to sit in double pigeon. That is stacking your feet like this, so you have your ankle just above your knee. I wouldn't put any pressure on your actual kneecap. I'm pretty tight in my hips, so I have a lot of space between my knee and my foot. You might not. It might be like this for you, and you might not feel anything because you just have a lot of flex. If you feel sharp shooting pain, that is never good, and please feel free to modify so that it's comfortable for you. So I'm starting from page 29 of the course manual. Sometimes the pages can be a little different. And you, again, you don't need any of this. I'm just reading this to you to kind of help make that information come to you easier so that you don't need to study outside of class. You can just stretch and feel good and absorb the information. I encourage you not to give me your undivided attention. If you want to stretch or drink or do a twist, please feel free. This is your time, and it's empowering for you to maximize your time in a way that serves you. So, whether I am the focal point or the background, I would like to add some value and to give you some of the highlights of the breathwork section in our RYT-200 course manual, which is in the teaching platform, and you can download it. Pranayama is the measuring, control, and directing of the breath. Pranayama controls the energy. Energy is prana in Sanskrit, within the organism in order to restore and maintain health and to promote evolution. When the inflowing breath is neutralized or joined with the outflowing breath, then perfect relaxation and balance of body activities are realized. In yoga, we are concerned with balancing the flows of vital forces, then directing them inward to the chakra system and upward to the crown chakra. Pranayama, or breathing technique, is very important in yoga. It goes hand in hand with the asana or pose. In the Yoga Sutra, the practices of pranayama and asana are considered to be the highest form of purification and self-discipline for the mind and body, respectively. The practices produce the physical, actual sensation of heat, called tapas, or the inner fire of purification. It is taught that this heat is part of the process of purifying the nadis, or subtle nerve channels of the body. This allows a more healthful state to be experienced and allows the mind to become calmer. As the yogi flows, the proper rhythmic patterns of slow, deep breathing, the patterns strengthen the respiratory system, soothe the nervous system, and reduce cravings. As desires and cravings diminish, the mind is set free and becomes fit as a vehicle for concentration. Let's take a few breaths to just think about that. How does drawing your attention inward to your own breath make you a vehicle for concentration? Or do you disagree? What is the value of breath work for us in modern times? Or is there value? At ShareLove.Fund, we advocate critical thinking. The idea is to empower you to be a yoga teacher. As a yoga teacher, you will be making decisions of how to teach your class, or maybe you won't be a yoga practitioner and you're just doing this for fun as something to do. But either way, a teacher and a teaching degree means that you are a decision maker, that you are empowered to be a decider. This is not about making disciples. This is about providing a platform of knowledge to stimulate you to make your own decisions about how to optimize your own self, and for those of you who wish to teach, how to gain tools to be an effective teacher. Let's talk about some breathwork techniques. So please forgive my pronunciation. So the Surya Beta pranayama is inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left. Surya Beta pranayama. Okay, so inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left. Inhaling through the right and exhaling through the left. For those of you that were sitting in pigeon, double pigeon, if you want to switch to the other leg, I'm inviting everyone to switch to the other leg, and if you switch with me, then I can keep track of the time and kind of remind you when to switch again so that you receive an equal stretch on both sides. So Surya Beta pranayama, this type of breath, inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left. At first, some of you that may have studied the pranayama section of our RYT-200, you might say, oh yes, I know this. This is alternate nostril breathing, but it's not, because we're not alternating nostrils. The Surya Beta pranayama is a sneak peek into what you will take a deep dive into in the RYT-300. Often in the RYT-200, this course, we will introduce some concepts. And then for those who are interested in the subject, they can get a deeper understanding of those subjects by enrolling in the RYT-300. So in the RYT-300, we'll examine that inhaling through the right nostril and exhaling through the left, like this. Surya Beta pranayama is not alternate nostril breathing, because you're always inhaling through the right and always exhaling through the left. Now, why is that? If yoga likes to be symmetrical, if a major advantage of yoga is to be symmetrical, why the heck would we just breathe in through the right and only breathe out through the left? Because this breath is coupled with an opposite type of breath work, which is to breathe in the left nostril and breathe out the right. So why would yoga have two different types of breaths? One exclusively breathing in the right nostril, and one exclusively breathing out the left nostril, and having another type of breath exclusively breathing in the left nostril and out the right. Why would yoga do that? Because there is a thought that there are certain benefits from stimulating the right side and certain benefits from being expulsive on the left side. And so when we engage in this Surya Beta pranayama, I'm maybe not going to get comfortable with it by the end of this. This is live on YouTube, flips and bloopers and all, so I have no place to hide and no option to ask questions. So anyway, doing the best with the pronunciation. This breath is exclusively designed to enjoy the benefits that one gets from breathing in on your right side and exhaling on your left side. So let's just try this together. We're gonna breathe in on our right side and breathe out on our left side. Breathing in on our right side and breathing out on our left side. Breathing in on our right side and out on our left side. Now, I'm not going to cue you, just please do it at your own comfortable pace. And as you do it, try to say Suryapita Pranayama, because I'm a big proponent of kinetic learning. That way you don't need tests and quizzes to memorize. You can do and learn as you're doing. So if you just kind of breathe in Suryapita, breathing in on the right side, and then exhaling pranayama, exhaling on the left side, then breathing in Suryapita on the right side, exhaling pranayama, then that kind of can help you remember. For those of you that were doing double pigeon, you can shake your legs out and stretch them in front of you, and we can do a seated forward fold while we talk about the next breathing exercise. So when in doubt, you might be teaching a class and want to use this Suryapita pranayama, and then you might think, shoot, was it inhaling on the right or left? But because you practice kinetic learning, sing Suryapita as you inhaled to the right, and pranayama as you exhaled on the left, you might just kind of do it naturally and remember it. Sometimes we can know things that we can't necessarily articulate, but we just know it by physically doing it, and that is that's a learning technique called kinetic learning. Okay, so now let's move on to a second type of breath that we will also take a deep dive in the RYT-200. Vritti Pranayama. So Vritti Pranayama is box breathing or equal breathing. Now normally when we're doing breath work, we would be sitting in Sukhasana or lotus, but I also want you guys to enjoy the benefits of stretching and making this time as productive as possible, because I know everyone's super busy. So if it feels good for you to be in a forward fold, this is a teacher training. It's not trying to be the most traditional yoga class. It's trying to give you the most minute per minute value that we can. So, Vritti Pranayama, equal breath or box breathing. Let us explore that now. So you can imagine your breath as a box. So you can inhale. Different people do it like this, but I kind of like the inhale to be up because I think that that makes sense. So maybe we'll start our box here. So inhale, exhale. Oh, sorry. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Sorry, I think I messed up. I mean, it's live, flips and bloopers and all. So I'm going to walk us through this. I'm going to try again. At ShareLove.Fund, we believe in second chances, and that is why we provide free vocational training to incarcerated women so that they may use their time behind bars to be productive and emerge from their custodial situation with a degree. Maybe they have a criminal record, but they can certainly teach online on YouTube and be an entrepreneur and build up their following by sharing their story. So we believe in second chances for our program participants, and I'm going to afford myself a second chance as a teacher here today. So we're going to do the box breathing. The idea is that it's equal part breathing, and it's a little bit like rubbing your stomach and patting your head because, you know, you're trying to pair your breathing with the box. You don't have to make the box with your hands. that is totally optional. I will do the box with my hands as a visual learning tool, and I will try to get it right this time. What I want to say as a caveat is, please feel free to breathe at your own pace. Nothing here shall be construed as medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to tell anyone to hold their breath. I don't know what is a safe lung capacity for you. So you are welcome to elongate or shorten the breath cycle that I'm proposing to your comfort zone. It is nice to explore the outer limits of your comfort zone. That's how we grow, but within a safe zone. So you don't need to inhale and exhale exactly when I say. I'm showing a sample, and then you can adjust it to how it feels good for you. Normally you would be sitting in easy seat, but if you want to sort of get a 2-for-1, since this breath technique is not super intense, please feel free to do a forward fold or what suits you. Okay, so we're going to inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. So that was RYT pranayama, box breath or equal parts breath. Moving right along, we have Kumhaka pranayama. Kumhaka pranayama is the retention of breath in the practice of yoga. For those of you that want to do more stretches, I invite you to join in doing double pigeon now on the first side that we did it on, and seeing if that feels like a little deeper of a stretch. And also you can use your breath to get a little deeper into it, but you can maybe feel your body opening up, and maybe it's a little easier from the first time to the second time. Kumhaka pranayama. As we discussed, that is the retention of breath in the practice of yoga. As 2 types, accompanied by breathing, whether after an inhale or after an exhale. The ultimate aim is unaccompanied, just sustained, not breathing. This I really don't advocate. I think that people should, if you're experienced in this and you know what you're doing, then great. This is something that somebody should be taught by somebody who knows what they're doing. At ShareLove.Fund, we take a very Western practical approach to yoga, and a medical doctor will say, not really to hold your breath. I mean, sometimes for a swimmer or diver, they do hold their breath, and that does increase lung capacity, but you also have to be careful with it. So I would say to consult with a doctor or a qualified professional when trying this. The ultimate aim of this yogic breath, Kumbhaka, is this unaccompanied breath, as we said, where it's not like sustaining the inhale, like, or sustaining the exhale. It's just the complete suspension of breath. And that state is called Kavala. Kavala Kumbhaka. I feel a little bit like Star Wars with this Kumbhaka. And the idea is that this Kavala Kumbhaka, this complete sustention of breath, could last for as long as the practitioner wishes. In some of the yogic texts, they say that with proper meditation and enlightenment, You can levitate and not feel hunger or not need to breathe and still be alive and this and that. So I personally haven't seen that. I don't really know. I would consult a doctor and do what's safe for you. So with this retention of breath, you can think of it in terms of the box breathing exercise that we just did. So in the box breathing exercise, we inhaled, and then we sustained our breath, and then we exhaled, and we sustained the exhale. Inhale, sustention, exhale, sustention. So this would be an example of how you don't need to learn different breaths in a vacuum, that you can see the interconnections between the breathwork techniques. So Kumbhaka pranayama can be what we call the sustension part of retreat pranayama. Retreat pranayama was the box breathing. Retreat pranayama, equal parts breath, box breathing. Inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain. Kumbhaka pranayama is the sustension part. So at first, for beginners, Kumbhaka pranayama is sustaining the inhale, sustaining the exhale. You can think of that as elongating the inhale, elongating the exhale. So inhale and exhale. Sometimes we practice this Kumbhaka pranayama, elongating the inhale or exhale, when we say, let's us breathe together and try to make each breath a little longer than the breath you had before. Doing it this way puts you in a challenge against yourself, not anyone else, and you're just trying to expand your own lung capacity at your own rate. Inhaling and exhaling each time a little bit longer and growing in that way. We also practice this Kumbhaka pranayama when we talked about the relaxing effects of having a longer exhale than an inhale. We learned this in the sutras when there was a sutra by Patanjali that said that when breathing, try to make the exhale twice as long as the inhale. Then in modern science, with the study of physiology and the effect of breath on the nervous system, we've learned that actually having an exhale that's longer than your inhale can have calming effects. So let's just try this. Try to breathe in 1 unit and exhale 2 units. I say units and not seconds because I want each person to adjust this to their comfort level. So it's within their safe zone, yet at the outer edges of their safe zone, so that you are growing a little bit, but you're not getting lightheaded or dizzy. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy, that would be dangerous, and we should not do that. So you're going to inhale 1 unit and exhale 2 units. And those units could be a count, and so you're inhaling a certain count, and then exhaling double that count. And you can grow it if you want. So let's just do that a little bit. I'm not going to count it out so that you can find your own expansion. You're inhaling, and then you're trying to make your exhale twice as long as your inhale. So here we're not suspending our breath. Here we're sustaining the breath. So the way we're getting to this Kumbhaka pranayama is we're first starting with sustension, and then we're going to work towards abstention. If you were sitting double pigeon like I was, this would be a time to switch to the other side so we can be even on both sides. You're breathing in and out, trying to make your exhale twice as long as your inhale. Sorry, a little technical mishap. So here we're breathing, having the exhale twice as long as the inhale, as sort of a precursor to the Kumbhaka pranayama. Double pigeon, also trying to open up the hips. So as that gets comfortable, elongating the breath, then the next level state is Kavala Kumbhaka, and that is the complete suspension of breath for as long as the practitioner wants. And that's more like what we did in the box breath of inhaling and then just creating space. Exhaling and just creating space. Inhaling, allowing for space, not an inhale or exhale, not a gasping, holding of a breath, just space. Exhale, space. Inhale, space. Exhale, space. Please feel free to practice that at your own pace, making your inhales and spaces and exhales within your comfort zone. And when you practice that, you can say in your mind that this is Kavala Kumbhaka. And by saying Kavala Kumbhaka and breathing it, that is a way to help learn the names of the breath without having to study anything outside of class. We can learn by doing. When you feel ready, we can move on to the next breath. So you will see this breath in the RYT-200, Anulam Vilam. Anulam Vilam is a form of alternate nostril breathing. So in our RYT-200, we talk about alternate nostril breathing. And earlier in this session, we talked about Virasana pranayama, which was just breathing with one nostril, only inhaling on the right side and exhaling on the left side. Virasana pranayama, inhaling only on the right side, exhaling only on the left side. Now we are talking about Anulam Vilam. You can tell these words are the bane of my existence, but yoga is about working through the discomfort, gaining comfort in the discomfort. So this is a form of alternate nostril breathing. So let's give this a try. So you can have your fingers like this, and you can try to close one nostril with your ring finger and breathe in through the available nostril, and then close the nostril you just breathed in with your thumb, and exhale through the available nostril, and then you switch sides. Now you're inhaling through the nostril you just exhaled, closing it, and you're exhaling through the other nostril. So in one side, close it up, out the other side, in the other side, close it up, out the other side. In, cross over, out, in, cross over, out. In, cross over, out, in, cross over, out. I'm going to give you some time to do this at your own pace. And as you do it, you can repeat what is called, to help you remember, Anulam, Vilam, alternate nostril breathing. This is a form of alternate nostril breathing. Okay, moving right along. For our final breath of today, our final breath work, which you will also get a deeper view in our RYT-200, Pratiloma Pranayama. So Pratiloma Pranayama is actually closing the nostrils, bringing the nostrils to a close. So please, again, do not do this without attention to your own medical needs, consulting a doctor, consulting a practitioner that is qualified in the field of your safety. But I am going to teach this because as a yoga teacher, certified yoga teacher trainee, as many of you will earn your degree from ShareLove.Fund, you need to be familiar with the basics, whether or not you actually practice them. So this pose can be using either the hand work we used in the prior breathing exercises in the variation of alternate nostril breathing. So you could close your nose like this gently, or you could put 2 fingers on your forehead and close your nose. So, and definitely allow yourself to breathe. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy, please stop immediately. This is more about learning the technique, to be a little nerdy and knowledgeable about what's out there in the world of yoga. This is not about physically working your breath today. This is a yoga teacher training, so it's more about getting the knowledge than getting the practice in this session. So anyway, this Pratiloma Pranayama is closing the breath. You can do that with the pointer finger and the thumb, like we did in alternate nostril, but you would have them both encased, or you can do it with the pointer finger and the thumb and 2 fingers on your forehead. This is thought to be like the third eye chakra, so the idea is you're kind of like stimulating your wisdom while holding your breath. Please only do that safely. Let's learn a little more about it. So you're not supposed to block the entire nostril, just partial. And the idea is to apply enough pressure to partially block the nostril. How much you block your nostril depends on how experienced you are. And either way, no matter how much pressure you put on your nostrils, the idea is that both sides, both nostrils will have equal pressure on them. So if you're pushing with your thumb, just keep in mind that your thumb may be a little bit stronger than your ring finger, but equalize the force so that the same amount of pressure is on your right nostril as on your left nostril. If you're sitting in double pigeon like I was, this can be an opportunity to stretch out your legs, and you can do seated forward fold while we learn this stuff, or whatever suits you. Okay, so moving right along. So the idea is that you have equal pressure on both sides. Your nostrils should never touch the septum. That's the bone. So you shouldn't feel this nostril skin touching the the bone. So that's why it's partially blocked. So you're just putting a little pressure. If you feel your skin like sticking to the other skin of your nose, then you've pushed too far. So your nostril shouldn't ever touch the bone. Does that make sense? So we have this like little bone in between our nose, and your nostril shouldn't touch that. So we're saying partially blocked. So partial is the operative word here. So you're just gently putting a little pressure, equal on both sides, the thumb and the ring finger, but not actually having the side of the nostril touch that bone. Inhale slowly and gently to prolong the in-breath. Adjust pressure as needed. Use the sensation and sound of inhalation as a guide to allow you to get deeper into your practice. So we're gently touching each side of our nose, or you can have your fingers up here for the chakra. Each side has the equal pressure. So the left side and right side have equal pressure. And we're not touching the septum, which is the bone in the middle of our nose. So now with this partially obstructed breath, partial, you're inhaling slowly and gently to prolong the in-breath. So let's breathe in slowly and gently to your comfort level. Adjust the pressure as needed. Use the sensation and sound of inhalation to guide you deeper into your practice. Upon completing the inhalation, retain the breath for an amount that you're comfortable with. I'm not going to say 1 second or 2 seconds because if you're not comfortable, because I don't know you, and each person should release the breath when they feel that they need to. Remove your hands. Upon completing the inhale, you can retain the breath for a moment. How you define a moment is up to you. And then you can remove your hands from the nostrils, place them on the thighs, and exhale with unobstructed nostrils until the lungs are completely empty. This is round 1 of Pratiloma Pranayama. Congratulations, you did it. You can do this 15 to 30 times or for 10 minutes. Do not continue if you feel dizzy or strained. Rest in corpse pose for a few minutes to recover and continue the next day. So let's just try this. So we're partially obstructing our nostrils, equal pressure on each side, but not touching the septum, not touching the middle bone. We're inhaling slowly and gently. At the top of your inhale, to your comfort level, you're going to, for lack of a better word, hold your breath. So right now we're doing Pratiloma Pranayama, but at the top of this inhale, we're going to practice a little bit of this idea of Kumbhaka Pranayama, which is the complete suspension of breath. When you feel comfortable, remove your hands to your thighs and slowly exhale with unobstructed nostrils until your lungs are empty. Now we'll take another Pratiloma Pranayama breath using our fingers from alternate nostril breathing, or Suryapita Pranayama that we first learned using that same kind of hand gestures. I'm doing this so we can see how this all kind of comes together. So the hand gesture of Suryapita Pranayama, which was like this, we're using that same hand gesture. You have equal pressure on each nostril, but you're not pushing the nostril against the center nose bone. which is the septum. And you're inhaling slowly and gently, prolonging the in-breath. At the top of the in-breath, you are going to retain your breath for a moment or a time period that's comfortable. You can think of this breath retention as Kumbhaka Pranayama. Kumbhaka Pranayama means the retention of breath. When you feel ready, you can bring your hands to your thighs or however you're comfortable. Really, this would be in more of a Sukhasana position. And exhale through your nose, unobstructed, until the entire lungs are empty. Inhaling. Sustaining. Exhaling unobstructed. At your own pace. We're all made differently. Maybe for somebody, deeper breaths will allow them to grow, and maybe, or maybe for somebody, shorter breaths will keep them safer. So please adjust how long you spend on the inhale, sustention, and exhale. Please adjust that and customize it to be perfectly perfect for you. And I'm just going to be guiding as a sample so that we can do this 10 times in a row to experience the benefits of it. Okay, that was 1, 2. That completes 2. That completes 3. That completes 4. That completes 5. If you were sitting cross-legged, if you switch sides, then that helps stay even for the next 5. That completes 6. That completes 7. That completes 8. That completes 9. That completes 10. Congratulations. So today we studied our RYT-200 manual coursework where we received an overview of pranayama, prana meaning breath, and yoga being the yoking of breath with movement. And then we also got a sneak peek into the RYT-300 where we learned about 5 breaths that we will learn more in our RYT-300. The first one was Suryabhita Pranayama. Suryabhita Pranayama looks like alternate nostril breathing, but it's not. It's always inhaling through the right nostril, and it's always exhaling through the left. Because yogis believe that there's certain benefits achieved by stimulating the right side alone and stimulating the left side alone. And that there's another kind of breath that stimulates in the opposite way. But this breath, Suryabhita Pranayama, exclusively focuses on stimulating your right side with the inhale and cleansing your left side with the exhale. That was the first breath we got a sneak peek at for today. The second breath we got a sneak peek at for the RYT-300 was Vritti Pranayama. Vritti Pranayama is box breath, or equal parts breath. And we talked about using your finger to make a box. So inhaling, sustaining, exhaling, sustaining. Inhaling, sustaining, exhaling, sustaining. We took that concept up a level by talking about Kumbhaka Pranayama. Kumbhaka Pranayama is the retention of breath. In the beginning, when we learn it, we think about holding, like inhaling and kind of holding your inhale and exhaling and holding your exhale, elongating it. But as you get more advanced into Kumbhaka Pranayama, as you get more advanced into it, maybe you learn to say it. No, I'm just kidding. But if you get more advanced into it, then we get to Kavala Pranayama, or Kavala Kumbhaka Pranayama, which I think sounds like Star Wars. Kavala Kumbhaka Pranayama is the complete suspension of breath. So I call it space. Imagine if we apply Kavala Kumbhaka Pranayama to our box breath, or our Vritti breath. That would be an inhale. And then a complete suspension of breath. Neither here nor there, just nothing, just space. And then an exhale, and then nothing. And this idea is that the practitioner would be able to suspend their breath for as long as they wish, just not breathing. Kind of holding your breath without the holding part, just being. Like the absence of breath. Sort of, if meditation is the absence of thoughts, then this Kavala Kumbhaka Pranayama would be the absence of breath. Again, I don't recommend this to a friend. I recommend to a friend to seek in-person professional advice when alternating your breath. For at-home practice, gently trying to lengthen your inhales and exhales within the normal comfort zone, gently expanding your breath. I think all those things can be fine for the healthy individual. But if you have any questions, please consult a doctor. So that was the third type of breath we learned, Kumbhaka Pranayama. Then the fourth type of breath was Anulam Vilam, which is a type of alternate nostril breathing. So again, we used our fancy handwork and we alternated nostrils. This was different than the first breath we learned, which was Suryabhita Pranayama, because Suryabhita Pranayama, as you remember, always inhaled on the right side and always exhaled on the left side. With Anulam Vilam, you are inhaling on the right side exhaling on the left, but then switching it up, inhaling on the left, exhaling on the right. Inhaling on the right, exhaling on the left, inhaling on the left, exhaling on the right. Inhaling on the right, exhaling on the left, and so forth. So it's equal sides. And then finally, for the fifth breath that we took a sneak peek today, and it will be in your RYT-200. So sign up, visit ShareLove.Fund/train for the RYT-200 sign up, or get access to all our courses as a VIP with ShareLove.Fund/VIP. One price and you get everything. The last breath, number 5, is Pratiloma Pranayama. Pratiloma Pranayama was gently, partially obstructing both nostrils. You can do this with the ring finger and the thumb, like we did. And the idea was that you are going to put equal pressure on each side. You'll be cognizant that your thumb is stronger than your ring finger, and you'll avoid the tendency to push harder on the side with your thumb. You are also going to be cognizant to not suffocate yourself. This is gentle pressure, partial obstruction, not a full obstruction. You don't want the sides of your nostrils touching your septum. Your septum is the bone between your nose. You don't want the skin touching the septum, or that would be fully obstructing your nasal respiratory route. The idea is that you partially obstruct, you inhale. At the top of the inhale, you can hold. The general practice is 1 to 2 seconds, but I don't really like to give a time frame on it because each person is different and it's important that you act safely. At the top of the inhale, you hold, and then you can remove your hands completely, put your hands on your thighs, and exhale slowly and gently until your lungs are empty. The idea is you partially obstruct on the inhale, then you hold at the top of the inhale, suspending your breath, and then remove your hands and exhale. We learned 2 hand positions for this Pratiloma Pranayama. Pratiloma Pranayama can be in the hand position of our alternate nostril breath, or you can have 2 fingers on your forehead as if you're touching your third eye. Pratiloma Pranayama. So that sums up the 5 breaths: Suryapita Pranayama, Vitri Pranayama, Kumbhaka Pranayama, Anulam Vilam Pratiloma Pranayama. Now, let's us continue this kinetic learning by putting some movement and connecting it with the breaths. So, we are going to use the next half hour to really connect the movement with the breath. We are also going to take a fun little sneak peek at our RYT-200 course materials. So in the RYT-200, we learn Sun Salutation B, and so we can take a sneak peek at that with this breath, so you can sort of get the benefits of everything. So, Sun Salutation B with this breath. So let's practice a little bit of box breathing. So we'll inhale, we'll sustain, and we'll exhale. And we'll do this with Sun Salutation B. If you don't know Sun Salutation B, don't worry. In a normal yoga class, you don't get the routine in advance. It's very normal to just follow along. So you don't need to memorize this. This is just something you can see. If you like it, then you'll master it if you sign up for the RYT-200. So inhale, arms up, upward salute. And then let's practice sustaining our breath a touch like we did in the Vitri Pranayama, and we just sink into chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. In forward fold, let's practice that box breath where we sustain our breath a little bit and we just rise to half bend. From half bend, we inhale, step back our left foot and then our right foot into plank. Okay, so I think we're at the inhale. So then we can sustain on the knees, chest, chin, and exhale on the up dog. So in our RYT-200, we do sun salutation A, we do cobra. The difference between cobra and up dog and sun salutation B is that the thighs are up. So I think we exhaled for this up dog. I'm not really sure, but I'll do my best. Okay, I think we just exhaled. So then we sustain in down dog. And then you can bring your left knee in and step it forward and come up to inhale in warrior one. I'm going to just look at my cheat sheet here and I'll hold it up because sometimes people like the visual, they can zoom in. So now we'll work on these poses. So our warrior one. From warrior one, we'll come back down to knees, chest, chin. Thinking about inhaling, pausing, exhaling. We'll push back up to up dog. Pushing back to down dog. Bringing the right knee in, stepping it forward. Coming up to warrior one. Coming back down to knees, chest, chin. Up dog. Down dog. Inhaling the right knee in, stepping it forward. Left knee in, stepping it forward. Half bend. Relax into forward fold using your breath. And then our final is for people who like to see chair and Tadasana. And then inhaling to chair. You can think of a sustained breath for upward salute. And exhaling Tadasana and sustaining your breath. So let's try that on the other side. I'm not going to say when to breathe so people can find their own natural breathing rhythm. But the idea is that we're going to try something new, which is sun salutation B, which you will see in the RYT-300 as sort of our core sun salutation. The RYT-200, RPYT, the prenatal, and RCYT, the children's, is all rooted in sun salutation A. That's like our basic salad dish, or for non-vegans, our basic chicken dish, that we add the 45 key signature poses to spice it up. And our RYT-300, we study the classical asanas, the 84 classical poses of hatha yoga, and other common poses. And we integrate that within the framework of sun salutation B so that you get a little more with each course. So let's do sun salutation B on the other side, thinking about the Vitri pranayama, how you can inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain, creating space between each breath. So you're going to link this idea of inhaling, creating space, exhaling, creating space. You're going to link this idea of the Vitri pranayama, which means box breath or equal parts breath. So you're going to think about the equal parts and linking that with the movement. And so we'll try to make this sun salutation B a little bit of a vinyasa, a little bit flowy. And so there's going to be a lot to think about. These are new moves, and you're pairing it with a new breath, and but it's a practice, not perfect, and this is how we grow. So I won't call out the breaths because I don't know everybody's lung capacity. And this is an opportunity for you to draw inward and explore, how are you going to pair this? If you were the teacher, how would you call out the breath? So I encourage people to kind of be loud. YouTube doesn't have volume. Call out the breaths. I will say the cues because a lot of people, they listen to this on mute with just the captions, and also so that you can focus and have your alignment correctly. It helps if you don't need to look at the camera. So I will call out the cues so you'll know like what position is next, but you call out the breaths, okay? So this will be a bit of a duet, so let us begin. Inhale, arms up, Tadasana. Okay, I guess I just called out the breaths. I'm a ham. Exhale forward, exhale, sit into chair pose. Now I will let you do the rest. Lean forward and let it all go in forward fold. You can grab a hold of opposite elbows. Shake your head yes, shake your head no, and just feel a full back body stretch. Using your breath in a way that suits you, you can come up to half standing forward fold. Again, using your breath, thinking about box breath and equal parts breath. Bend your right knee and step it back. Have your left leg match for plank. Keeping in mind the equal parts breathing. Use your breath to gently bend your knees, untuck your toes, bring your chest to the mat for knees, chest, chin. Using your breath, push up into up dog, gently lifting your thighs off the mat, having a gentle gaze forward. Using your breath, untuck your toes and push up into down dog. In down dog, feel free to bend your knees or lift your heels so you get a straight spine. Take a few breaths, building strength in down dog. When you're ready, bring your right knee in and step it forward between your hands. Using your breath, come up to warrior one. Feel the power and strength in warrior one. Using your breath, bring your hands down to each side of your foot. Bring your right foot back to plank. Gently drop your knees, untuck your toes, and bring your chest to the mat for knees, chest, chin. Using your breath, push up to up dog. Using your breath, push down to down dog. In down dog, you can gently pedal out your feet to gain a deeper stretch. Using your breath to build strength. From down dog, bring your right knee in, step it forward. Your left leg, step it forward. Your right foot, step it forward. I apologize. Don't bring your left leg forward. From this low lunge, come up to warrior one. Let's be in warrior one for a little bit to build some strength, using your breath. From warrior one, bring your hands down to each side of your foot. Bring your right foot back to plank. Gently drop your knees, untuck your toes. Bring your chest down to knees, chest, chin. Push up using your breath to up dog. Uncurl your toes, come back to down dog. From down dog, bring your right knee in, step it forward, your left foot to match, and you are in standing half forward fold. Let it all go as you drop into standing forward fold. Grabbing hold of opposite elbows. For a little deeper of a stretch, you can step your hands under your feet, or grab a hold of your thighs or shins, or whatever serves you. We're going to spend a little bit longer here practicing the breath techniques. And if you feel lightheaded, please come out of this pose, because this is a double whammy for a lot of people, which is too intense, because being upside down is hard on people and the breath work is hard. So please, please do a seated forward fold, or don't practice the breath work, or modify as needed. For those of you that it works, you can practice Vitri Pranayama, which is the box breath or the equal parts breathing. And what you're trying to do is create fluidity. Instead of a box, you can now think of it like your breath is a circle, and that your circle maybe has 4 curved segments of equal parts. One segment is the inhale, one segment is the sustension, one segment is the exhale, one segment is the sustension, one segment is the inhale, one segment is the sustension, one segment is the exhale, one segment is the sustension, one segment is the inhale, one segment is the sustension, one segment is the exhale, one segment is the sustension, and so forth. The idea is that your breath cycle is a circle with no start and no end. That you aren't constantly working every second. You're not constantly heaving in and out. That for the amount of time that you're using your body to draw air inward or expel air outward, you're also having time at rest. When you feel ready, you can inhale to chair pose, feet hip width apart, sitting down in chair, engaged core. Lift up to upward salute, and exhale, the hands on hips. So that was a sneak peek of Sun Salutation B. So this is the handout you will see just on Sun Salutation B in the RYT 300, 38 pages of good stuff. And so now let's use our breath work for some more simple stretches. So today our pose of the week is Hero's Pose. So in Hero's Pose, we can start at our knees and sit down. It's a little different from Thunderbolt Pose, which is just where I am now. And for some people, this might be enough. We're going to talk about Thunderbolt Pose next week. Hero's Pose, you kind of squish out the calves and just kind of like peel them out. You can peel it out so that you're actually sitting on the ground. Now, often we see little kids sit like this all the time. This is also a Hot 26 pose. For those of us who have done dance, this pose feels counterintuitive. We're always taught to turn out. It feels dangerous. I've been assured by yogis that it's not. However, sharpshooting pain is never okay. If this pose feels too intense, remember at the beginning I said that you don't need any equipment, but it's optional. If you wanted to sit on a block or a bolster or a blanket or a pile of laundry, you can. You know, a stack of textbooks, whatever you have available to you. If you wanted, you could practice this hero's pose sitting on something. That helps you get the sensation of rolling out the calves, but maybe it supports you until you have that knee flexibility that you need. I also am a big fan of leg warmers because it keeps our knees warmed up. So whether you're choosing to sit on a block or, again, you don't need props. I love to say that yoga was invented before yoga equipment was invented. So you truly don't need anything but yourself. You can sort of experiment with this hero's pose at your own comfort level. And this is an excellent pose to practice some of the breathing. So here we can practice that V-tree breath, box breath. Inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain. Inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain. Inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain. Inhale, sustain, exhale, sustain. When you feel ready, let's do a little warm up. We can do some cat-cows and just kind of stretch it out. And again, you can think of that box breath. You can stretch your neck as you need to. Inhaling, sustaining, exhaling, sustaining. You can do cat-cows at your own pace, tailoring it to the rhythm of your own breath. What we're practicing here today is creating space between the inhale and the exhale. The act of that kumbhaka breath, the absence of breath. Playing around with the concept of what is the difference between holding your breath and just simply not being engaged in the act of breathing. So we can inhale and hold our breath, and then exhale. And then really elongate that exhale. Or we can comfortably inhale and then pause, exhibiting no effort, and then comfortably exhale. And when we feel empty, pause, exhibiting no effort. So you can move your spine and stretch and practice that concept of inhaling and pausing, exhibiting no effort, and exhaling and pausing, exhibiting no effort. When you feel ready, you can lean back and straighten your arms in the downward puppy, stretching the front side of your body and your back and underarms. And in this downward puppy, you can practice the breath again. Inhaling, pausing, exhaling, pausing. At your own pace, we're practicing the Vritti pranayama breath, the box breath or equal parts breath. Inhaling at your own pace, creating space. Exhaling at your own pace, creating space. Inhaling at your own pace, then creating space. Exhaling at your own pace, and then creating space. When you feel ready, come up to table. We'll push up into down dog, jump our feet up to the center, and we'll do a quick review of our Series C of Sun Salutation A, so you guys get the benefit of a little bit of a cumulative review. So as you recall, the SHARE method is a method that anybody can become a confident yoga teacher, even if you are illiterate. And our method was developed in 2020 in response to COVID, when incarcerated women were denied the right to have child custody visitations, because during COVID there were no visitations. So the women in custody couldn't see their children. So we decided to make lemonade out of lemons and use this time of isolation for them to earn a Yoga Alliance accredited teaching degree on a tablet program. In order to make anybody a confident yoga teacher, we took all of yoga and we broke it down to the essentials. We isolated 45 key poses and we paired them with Sun Salutation A. We divided the 45 key poses into 9 groups, and we made 5 Sun Salutation A routines spiced up with 9 poses each, 9 different poses each. So by the end of our program, everybody feels confident with knowing Sun Salutation A plus our 5 series or 5 versions of Sun Salutation A. Series A, which is Sun Salutation A with 9 poses. Series B, which is Sun Salutation A with the next 9 poses of the SHARE method. And now we're in Series C, which is Sun Salutation A with, this will be our 6th pose of the 9 pose sequence. When our women graduate, they have 6 routines, go-to routines that they know forever to teach a class. Our 5 Sun Salutation series, plus just general Sun Salutation A. That's enough. You can teach a whole class with just Sun Salutation A if you wanted to be a purist. That's 6 different routines. For the 7th routine, if they wanted to teach every day of the week, the 7th routine, we invite our students to invent their own routine. Creativity is truly, truly amazing. You will never hear someone say, oh, I wish I didn't use up all my creativity in my 30s. That was such a waste. No, you can be 100 years old and still have ideas. And so we love the idea that the 7th routine we don't provide, and that our students can make up their own routine. This way, graduates could have a different routine for every day of the week if they were teaching class every day of the week. The reason why we do these routines is 45 poses divided by 9 is 5. That means that with 5 of these routines, with 9 poses each, graduates feel confident to learn 45 poses. So we group the poses together because it is a memorization tool for kinetic learning. So that's why this routine will look the way it is. It's not necessarily the best routine. It's just the best way to learn this group of 9 poses in this particular series. So we are going to review. I'm looking at my cheat sheet, sorry. We're going to review tree pose that was pose of the week in week 23. We're going to review dancer pose, which was pose of the week in week 24. We're going to review eagle pose, which was pose of the week in week 25. We're going to review extended hands at foot, which was pose of the week in week 26. Going to review squat pose, which was our pose in week 27. And then this week is week 28. So we've introduced hero's pose. So we have 3 more poses until the series is over. You will get 1 more pose for the next 3 weeks. In 4 weeks from now, you will have a review week. We do 1 new pose a week for 9 weeks. And then on that 10th week, we have a review week. The review weeks fall on weeks ending in a 2. Sorry, I know this is a lot of information, but week 2, we introduced the sun salutation to you. Week 12 was the review week of our first 9 poses. Week 22 was our review week of our second 9 share method key signature poses. And week 32 will be the review week for these 9 poses we're working on now. Right now you have 6 of the 9, so let's get reviewing. Okay, so the way we're going to review is by kinetic learning. We're going to insert these poses into sun salutation A. Our point of insertion, our splice spot is downward dog. So basically, I'm just going to show you my cheat sheet. We're super low tech here, but the idea is that we'll start with sun salutation A. We'll break it up at down dog. Then this is super embarrassing, messy. But these are our poses of this week. I really need an intern, guys. We're a charity. Somebody help me out here. These are the poses of this series, and then we'll finish the sun salutation down dog, standing forward fold, half bend, upward salute, mountain pose. So the idea, I put the sun salutation ones in yellow. So we'll start the beginning of the sun salutation, then we'll do the poses, the balancing poses that we learned, squat and what we have now, and then we'll end it on the bottom. So anyway, it's a practice, not a perfect. The point is that maybe a little messy, but our students love that they get to learn it without homework, without tests and quizzes, and that for every public student taking our course, it pays for a free degree, for a second chance, for someone in need. We turn wards of the state into tax-paying citizens. It's awesome. You're a part of it, and thank you so much for making a difference. So let us serve you now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. We're doing sun salutation A. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, step the left foot back to plank. Step the right foot back to plank. From plank, curl the toes under. Come to cobra. From cobra, push to down dog. Now in down dog, this is our point of insertion. Bring the left knee in, step it forward, the right one to match, and slowly roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Here we'll do our balancing poses on the left side. Week 23, tree pose. I'm a little wobbly. I'm gonna lose my socks and leg warmers and get to business. So if we're not warmed up by now, then we'll never be, because we're an hour and a half into it. Okay, tree pose, week 23. From tree pose, we learned that we can get into dancer pose by starting with a quad. We'll do a little hopscotch because it's pretty on this side. Look at a focal point and then draw your arm up for a long spine, and then exhale, leaning forward, dancer pose. When you feel ready, you can inhale, draw it all inward, and you have your quad stretch. From your quad stretch, you can wrap your foot around, eagle legs. The leg on top is the arm on the bottom, and sit into it. From eagle, you can give your leg a little bit of a hug, grab your foot, and inhale out. From here, I'm gonna try that again. Inhale out. From here, you can give your leg a hug again and come down to a squat. From your squat, you can use your elbows on the inside of your thighs to really push them out. This gives you a bit of a hip stretch. From this squat, you can use your hands to gently come forward. Bring your knees together. You can keep your feet out a little bit. Grab a hold of your calves and gently try to roll them out and shimmy yourself down. You can use a block or a pile of laundry to sit on, to support you if this is too intense. From here, we're going to finish our sun salutation by inhaling arms up, exhaling, curling the toes under, and coming back into downward dog. Now this is where we interrupted our sun salutation. So now we're going to finish our sun salutation as if nothing ever happened. Inhale the left knee in, step it forward, the right leg, step it forward. Exhale, forward fold, inhale, half bend, inhale all the way up, arms up to upward salute. Exhale, Tadasana. Now let's do that on the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Exhale, the right leg back. Now the left leg back. Now you're in plank. From plank, cobra. From cobra, down dog. Down dog is our point of insertion. So we're going to interrupt our plain salad dish of the sun salutation for 6 of our 9 poses in Series C. Inhale the right knee in. Step it forward between the legs. Inhale the left leg. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly come up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Now we review 6 of our 45 Share Method key signature poses. Week 23, we learned tree. So now you're doing tree on the other side. Your left leg is grounded and your right leg is up. Then, from tree, you can go into quad stretch. From a quad stretch, you can do a little hopscotch, and maybe some of us will hopscotch more than others. You also can grab a hold of a wall and something like that. There's 2 parts of this stretch. One is the balancing component, but the other is just the stretch component. So if you are not holding onto a wall, you're working on balancing. If you are holding onto a wall, you'll get a deeper physical stretch. So it just depends what you want to work on. Neither way is actually easier or more advanced than the other way, because that's why ballerinas and stuff do bar work, because you actually can get a lot deeper benefits actually holding on to something. It just depends what you want to work on that day. Inhaling, arms up, and try to find a focal point. And exhaling to stretch, king dancer. Bring your foot back to a quad stretch. Oopsies. Bring your leg around. Try not to laugh too much. It's yoga, it's not too serious. It's a challenge with yourself and no one else. Okay, I'm super hopscotchy. Okay, I had to put my foot down. I didn't make it, but that's okay. Okay, wrap this leg around, this arm under, eagle. From eagle, give this foot a hug. My left leg is super tired, so I'm just gonna shake it out. Listen to your body, because you know, the only fool is one who gets injured in yoga. It should be pretty low impact, so listen to your body. Okay, from eagle, you can give your knee a hug, but not touching your actual knee, touching a little bit below. Grab your foot, extended hand to foot, grab your knee again. Come down to a squat. From a squat, you can push your elbows on the inside of your legs to widen your hips. Try to drop your tailbone down and elongate your spine. From the squat, you can gently place your hands forward as if you're maybe going into crow, but dropping your knees down, bringing them together, peeling out your calves, and letting yourself sit. From hero's pose, our pose of the week, we will finish our sun salutation. Inhaling the arms up, sweeping them over, pushing back up to down dog, like we never interrupted the sun salutation. Inhaling the left knee in, stepping it forward, the right leg to match. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half bend. Inhale, arms all the way up, and exhale, Tadasana. So we did it. I'm just going to check the time, but I think my time is up with all of you guys. So we won't do a Savasana today. I will leave you energized for the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a blessed day. Namaste.